Hello, babes. I hope everyone is doing well and hanging in there. I decided to do this video, sort of similar to my last one, because I noticed something keeps coming up with clients or I'm reading about it. And this morning I even saw it in an article from another mentor who obviously must be dealing with the same thing. So I thought, okay, it's time to do a video, hopefully help some people, probably piss some people off, but excites the senses. I think that when you've decided something and it's what you are deciding to go forward with, when someone tells you the opposite, it can sort of trigger you. First of all, there's very little in the spiritual realm, topics, subjects, what have you, that's right or wrong. Because I'm going to say the opposite of some people here. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It's not that simple. So I'm not doing this video to argue or to get into debates because I don't do that. I'm here to share my opinion, my experiences, and help others. If you disagree with what I'm saying, good. Doesn't bother me a bit. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate, then do clicky clicky. It just seems to be becoming more prevalent, is this idea that you don't need any protection. And by protection, I mean light shields, prayers, that kind of thing. So do you need protection? It would be a pretty good idea, yeah. And a lot of spiritual people or people that are practicing honing their abilities and what have you, they're saying, oh, I don't use protection, or my clients are coming to me and saying that they heard that they don't need protection from someone else. And I'm like, what? Where is this coming from? If you do not feel that you need to use extra protection for your energy field, then knock your ass out. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't need extra protection. But I feel that most of you do, including me. You are made up of energy and you have an energy field. You always are protected, not only with your own aura, but also you have a spirit team that is helping protect you. Always, always. So why do we use extra protection? Why do we invoke those of the highest vibration to come speak with us? Why do we put up a white light shield when we're talking to spirit? Why in the morning do I use a blue light shield? Why do some people use green? That kind of thing. It's because you're a human, and that energy field that you have can be affected. Just like any other type of energy, it can be affected by energy around it. And that is just simply how it is. Okay, there's very little that I'll say is certain. And there's a lot of spiritual people that are like, this is this and this is this. And it's like, no, man, there's so much gray area. There's we've barely skimmed the surface of trying to understand all this. And when you think you understand it, that just unfolds more and more and more. But we have a pretty good idea of how to navigate certain things. And one of them is using protection to further strengthen your energy field. As a human, you're interacting with these other energies, and they can push into your energy field. They can siphon from your energy field. I mean, the list goes on and on of different ways that we're all affected every day by different things. And when you use certain light shields, it adds like an extra layer of protection for when you think you need it. And the reason we need it is because we are humans who agreed to come to Earth and agreed to be affected. You cannot not ever be affected. You can soften the blow of being affected. You can certainly be affected a hell of a lot less. Once you're able to do things that help your energy field, like self-care, meditation, raising your vibration, putting up boundaries with other people, all that kind of good stuff. You certainly make your energy field stronger. That is true. The higher you raise your vibration, the more in alignment you feel with yourself, the more self-care you have, your energy field does get stronger. Someone with a stronger energy field is going to be less affected by the things around them. That is true. But that's only in an idealistic sense. I don't know about you, but I have days where I'm really rocking and rolling. I feel good. I feel not fearful. I feel like I have a high vibration and everything's going really smoothly, and I just really feel full of joy. I can tell you on those days, I probably don't need that much protection, or if any extra protection, because my energy field is doing really well. It's very strong. But then the next day somebody pisses me off, or, an energy vampire tries to drain me, or I have 6 clients and I had to plug into each of those clients to be able to receive intuitive information. And then maybe they had some icky shit that tries to jump over and I had to clear it away. And I mean, it goes on and on, the things that can happen to anyone on a regular day. Your car can break down. That's really upsetting. You could lose your job. That'll definitely lower your vibration. You can get in an argument with your partner. That'll affect your vibration. Those things affecting your vibration affect that protection, affect that energy field. And that's how stuff can get in your energy. And that's why we use protection generally. Yeah, you might not need it every day, but don't you think it's probably a pretty good idea to put it up anyway? We don't ever use protection out of fear. If you are using protection out of fear, you can definitely call in more things. It's not the protection that's calling it in, it's the fear. It's the fear of, I got to surround myself with white light, and geez. You have these kind of low-level tricksters that be like, Ryan's scared. We're going to head over there. It's like someone just decided, well, I'm not going to use any protection. I don't need it. And whenever I hear it, they're doing it in like a superiority type way. I'm not saying all of you are doing it. I'm saying that generally that's what I'm experiencing. And I think it's irresponsible because you might not need any protection. You might be shitting rainbows every day. In my case, my spirit guides tell me what I need, and they also tell me what my clients need uniquely when they come to me. But for most of us, because we are humans, we have human emotions, and we are dealing with a lot of interactions daily on all kinds of levels. That extra protection helps. You're recognizing I am a human. I have an energy field, and some days I am going to need a little extra assistance. I think that there's a lot of people that are taking something that they heard from someone else and running with it, and then telling other people it comes across sometimes, whether it's meant to or not, like, well, I'm better than that. I don't need that. Why do you need that? Like, I don't need protected. I don't get affected by things, which is like, come on. Maybe everyone else's energy field can get affected, but mine can't. It's like, you'd have to be basically an enlightened being. We didn't come to Earth to walk enlightened, okay? We're all trying to become enlightened, but, we're humans. It's okay to be a human. That's what we are. We're here to have a human experience. As a mentor, each of my clients needs different assistance. And I think it's really irresponsible for a lot of the people in the spiritual community to say, you don't need protection. It's like, well, maybe you don't. Maybe they do. So tune in and find out what their needs are. Pretending things doesn't exist doesn't make them not exist. There are shadow aspects of things. There is darker elements, but they serve a purpose. And us pretending they don't exist ain't doing anyone any good. it's very empowering to learn about all facets of the light and dark. That way you can have the knowledge to navigate things when it happens. I will say that as I've let go of fears that build up over 41 years and probably from previous existences, I've definitely had where icky things have showed up and I've had to learn to deal with them and learn to get rid of them. And whenever these things were happening, at the root of what was going on was growth. That's what my guides always said, okay? You were growing, you were learning to trust. Also, to be able to help people, I had to know and have to know how to handle many, many different things. So when a client comes to me and says, there was a thing floating over me at night, or I had something poking me in the shoulder, in my hallway, I can't say to them, just pretend it doesn't exist, pretend it doesn't bother you. You don't need to call in protection. You just ignore it and it'll go away. Just say it's not part of your reality. How helpful is that? I mean, the truth is it did exist. It was poking them in the shoulder. So they can't all of a sudden think like, well, it's not my reality. It doesn't exist. It's not helpful. So I understand that a lot of the things I had to deal with that were darker were so I could know how to help other people. And a lot of times these darker things are a reflection of what's going on with you. That is true. But truth is, it can also be sent from someone that didn't like you. It can be that you're collecting them from clients. I mean, that stuff happens all the time. My guides feed me information of what's going on with the person I'm helping. And a lot of times, the people that I help, they weren't scared. They weren't concerned about putting up protection or, fear wasn't there. I had a friend that needed assistance, and if you're watching this, hi. And he is not into any of this, okay? He really questions its existence. Someone was angry at him, and it sent stuff into his energy. And he came to me seeing all kinds of weird shit, having a lot of weird stuff happen. And this is someone who doesn't even believe any of this. Well, he's a believer now. We were able to find out sort of what was going on and what he needed to do. And it was his guides, through my guides, telling me, we want you doing some protection, some prayers, some clearings. And it took a few weeks and it all finally cleared up. So how do you use that advice of you don't need protection, you don't need clearings, you don't need to think that these darker things are part of your reality? It's like, well, I do think that we are all each having very unique experiences. So there are people who will never have to deal with really icky things. There are people who will never see a ghost. There are mediums and intuitives that really do seem to just kind of stay in the light and don't have to deal with the darker aspects. And then there's some of us that do. And it's not because we're doing anything wrong. It's because it's part of our path. I think too many spiritual people keep lumping everybody together. And they think if you're doing something different than they're doing, that you're doing something wrong or you're living in fear. I always think of us like the magician card in tarot. You are very powerful. You have a lot of tools at your disposal to help your energy, to protect yourself, to be able to seek assistance and guidance from your guides to navigate, this journey. And we're given those things because the divine know we need them, because we can be affected by things. It's just sort of like the law of manifestation. That was taken and simplified down to if you just put some pictures on a poster and hang them on the wall, it'll all come to you. that you can just put stuff on posters and have no action behind your manifestation, it left a lot of people hanging. You've taken something that has so many more moving parts and put it down to here, and then it's not really working for anyone. And the protection thing's the same. There's so many parts to what's going on with us, and so many things that can occur with your energy field that taking all that knowledge away, how to strengthen your energy field, how to have boundaries and grow as a person, has gotten shortened to, you don't need protection. It's like, all the clients I have that, there's things in their energy. They're just learning. They're at the very beginning. And we find stuff that's in their energy. Maybe it's been there a long time. Maybe it just showed up. Maybe it's because they've been practicing reading through Facebook groups and, without protection and cutting the connection cords, things are jumping over. And I just can't imagine saying to them, well, you don't need protection. If it's not in your reality, it's like, but that stuff wasn't in their reality to begin with, and yet here it is in their energy. Tune into what you need. Don't even just listen to me. Don't listen to whoever. What do you need? These energies affect our energy. We are simply like these little bolts of electricity that can be affected by the energy around us. So we use protection to help that energy. I am taught by my guides to use protection. I can't just say, nope. Sometimes the reason someone might be dealing with a lot of darker entities, beings, what have you, is because their light is so bright that they become a beacon for things not of the light, or they feel very threatened by your light. When you're, let's say, taking a run at night or a walk at night by yourself, and maybe you're in the city where there's a lot of other people, do you run down the street with no mace, no knife, no cell phone, and say, oh, it's not part of my reality. I am protected always. Nothing will happen to me. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need protection. So what's the difference? Because all that is energy also. It's no different than when you're connecting with the divine. It's no different when you're connecting with other people. It doesn't hurt to have protection. And sometimes it's very needed in certain situations. And it doesn't make you less spiritual. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means you accept, I'm a being of light. I am energy. And I need to take care of my energy. And part of that is protecting your energy.